Ava Linwood let out a sharp shriek as the mop water splashed onto her imported nude pumps. Ugh. Can you watch where you're going? She snapped, glaring at the man crouched beside the mop bucket. The janitor looked up, weathered face, thick glasses, gray hair under a faded cap. Sorry, miss, he said calmly. Didn't see you coming. Ava sneered. Maybe open your eyes next time, Grandpa. Some of us have important meetings. She strutted off toward the elevator, the stench of disinfectant clinging to her designer blazer, muttering under her breath. Loser. From behind, the janitor slowly rose, watching her go. No anger, no bitterness, just a quiet, knowing smile, every morning at 8 o'clock sharp. Ava Linwood entered Hartley Company in 5-inch heels and a chip on her shoulder. Fresh out of business school and convinced the corporate world was hers for the taking, she strutted past the security desk, tapped her intern badge with flair, and threw a smirk at the janitor in the lobby. Same man. Same gray uniform. Same faded cap. Same sour smell of bleach and old coffee. Morning, mop man, she said one Tuesday, dropping her half-empty latte into his trash cart without making eye contact. Try not to spill anything today. The janitor, whose stitched name tag read Ben, simply nodded, adjusting his gloves. She never noticed the way the older employees smiled politely at him. Or how the CEO himself greeted Ben with a respectful handshake whenever he passed. Ava was too busy counting LinkedIn followers and practicing her power pose. To her, Ben was part of the furniture. A background extra in the movie of her rise to success. Ava had a plan. She didn't move to the city to be average. She came to win. To dominate. To get promoted from intern to executive before anyone else even had the chance. Her tactics, charm when needed. Competition when threatened. And mockery when convenient. Ben was her favorite target. He moved slowly. He smelled funny. His hands were always dirty. I'm surprised they haven't replaced you with a robot, she told him once in the elevator, holding her breath. You know, to keep up with the century. Ben only gave a soft chuckle. I don't mind old-fashioned. That annoyed her even more. Sometimes he said things that sounded too wise. Too patient. Like he thought he knew something she didn't. By Ava's 3rd month, the company buzzed with rumors. The CEO, Mr. Hartley, was preparing to retire. There would be a new owner, maybe even someone from inside the company. Whispers circled about mergers, buyouts, and big changes. Ava had her eye on one thing: visibility. She started arriving earlier, staying later, and making sure her ideas were heard in every meeting, even when they weren't asked for. At lunch, she boasted to the other interns. I've already met with Hartley's assistant twice this week. Just wait. I'm going to be the youngest junior executive they've ever promoted. Have you heard who the new owner is? One intern asked. No, she said, smirking. But as long as it's not the janitor, I'll be fine. They laughed. Ben, walking past with a bucket, said nothing. But the corner of his mouth twitched, a flicker of something between sadness and amusement. One evening, Ava stayed late, polishing her pitch deck. The office was quiet except for the low hum of vacuuming. Ben entered the room with a mop and paused at her desk. You work hard, he said kindly. She glanced up. Of course I do. He looked around. But sometimes the ladder you're climbing leans on the wrong wall. She scoffed. Is that supposed to be deep? He chuckled. Maybe. Or maybe it's just mop man talk. She rolled her eyes. Thanks, Confucius. Now if you don't mind. He nodded and backed away. What she didn't see was the way he looked at her, like someone trying to warn a firewalker about the flames. 2 weeks later, the email came, company-wide meeting, 10 a.m. in the atrium. Major leadership announcement. Mandatory. Everyone whispered. Some joked. Some panicked. Ava sat near the front, legs crossed, lips glossed, notebook ready. She could already picture the headline, Intern turned executive, Ava Linwood's meteoric rise. Mr. Hartley took the podium. His voice was calm and measured. Today marks the end of my tenure at Hartley Company. It's been an honor. And now, I'm proud to introduce the building's new owner. And our incoming partner. A hush fell. Mr. Hartley smiled. He's been with us a long time. Knows this company inside out. Please welcome Ben Carter. Ava laughed out loud. She thought it was a joke. Until she saw Ben step forward in a suit. Gone was the gray uniform. Gone were the gloves and bucket. He stood tall, dignified, polished, and utterly familiar. People gasped. One intern dropped his phone. Ben took the mic and spoke calmly. I bought this building over 20 years ago after selling a small tech firm. I chose to stay here, quietly, to learn who people really are when they think no one important is watching. He looked directly at Ava. Respect isn't owed because of title or wealth. It's revealed by how you treat those you think are beneath you. Ava's face drained of color. Ava sat frozen in her chair as polite applause rippled around the room. Her mouth was dry. Her mind raced. Ben? The janitor? He owns the building. The interns she used to mock others with were now looking at her, not with admiration, but pity. Or worse. Satisfaction. After the meeting, Ava slipped away into the stairwell, avoiding the crowd, heart pounding in her chest. She didn't know whether to cry, scream, or vomit. Later that afternoon, Ava was called to the conference room. Her heart sank when she opened the door. Ben sat at the table, dressed immaculately in a dark navy suit. The janitor cap was gone, replaced by dignity and command. Have a seat, he said gently. She lowered herself into the chair, spine stiff, fingers clenched in her lap. I assume you have questions, Ben offered. Ava struggled. I didn't know. I mean. You thought I was just a janitor, he finished for her. Not worth your attention. Or kindness. She looked down. I never meant to humiliate? To insult? He wasn't cruel. Just honest. You did. Many times. Silence, then he sighed. But this wasn't about punishing anyone. It was about revealing who people are when no one is watching. Some interns offered to help carry supplies. Some asked about my day. You didn't. Tears pricked her eyes. Are you going to fire me? Ben leaned forward. I'm not interested in revenge, Miss Linwood. I'm interested in growth. She looked up, surprised. You want to stay here? He asked. You'll start over. Entry level. No executive fast track. No shortcuts. And you'll report to someone who was once your equal. Can you do that? Her pride screamed no, but her heart, cracked and humbled, whispered yes, I can, she said, voice shaking. He nodded once. Then prove it. The next Monday, Ava sat at a new desk, next to the mailroom. No window. No personal assistant. Just a cup of instant coffee and a massive spreadsheet. She expected Snickers. And she got them, but she stayed, she worked hard, she apologized, to the interns, to the receptionist, even to the security guard whose name she'd never bothered to learn. But the hardest apology was to Ben, one evening, as he passed by her new desk. Not as a janitor, but as a respected partner. She stood. Mr. Carter? She said softly. He turned. I was wrong. About everything. Ben studied her for a moment. Then offered a small, warm smile. Then I guess we're both finally seeing things clearly. Months passed. Ava didn't climb as fast this time. But she climbed right. She learned names. Listened more. Spoke less. Asked questions instead of showing off. One day, during a company-wide event, a young intern tripped and spilled coffee all over his shirt. Everyone laughed, except Ava. She rushed over, helped him up, handed him her blazer, and smiled. It's just coffee. You're okay. From across the room, Ben watched. He didn't say a word, just nodded, quietly pleased. On her one-year review, Ava was called into the top-floor office. Ben sat at the desk. A thick envelope sat in front of him. You've grown, he said. More than most would in 10 years. I've had a good teacher, she replied. He pushed the envelope toward her. She hesitated. What is this? A copy of the deed, Ben said casually. To the building. Her eyes widened. You own it, he continued. But I'd like you to run it. Not because of where you came from, but because of who you've become. She opened the envelope, hands trembling. You were right, she whispered. The ladder I was climbing. It was leaning on the wrong wall. Ben chuckled. You found the right one now. She used to laugh at the janitor. Now she knew, the richest people weren't always in suits, and the most important lessons came from the quietest places. Because respect isn't earned by title, it's earned by heart. The end. My name is Temille Deebs. Please subscribe and make sure to click on the notification button to know when we upload a new video. Also like, share and comment your thoughts. See you in the next video.